Time now to talk more about the MTN MSU poll. Today we're releasing the results on the two major initiatives. I'm joined by Dr. David Parker, MTN political analyst, and our chief political reporter Mike Dennison joining us from Bozeman. Gentlemen, Dr. Parker, let's talk first about Initiative 185, the Medicaid expansion, the tobacco paid for by tobacco taxes. This is a razor thin. It looks like it's up for grabs right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really tied up at 41% yes, 41% no, 17% don't know. If you look at all the initiatives, this is the one I think has the greatest chance of losing.
Mike Dennison, your story earlier this week about how much money is pouring into this race in just the last 2 weeks. This is the second most expensive race on the Montana ballot this year.
That's right. We're talking $25 million has been raised or spent so far on this initiative race. $17.5 million of those dollars have come from two tobacco companies pretty much against Initiative 185, which would extend Medicaid expansion, which covers about 100,000 low-income adults in Montana, and help pay for that with a big increase on tobacco taxes, taxes on cigarettes and other tobacco products. Of course, that's why the tobacco people are fighting it. And we look at the 41-41 count. Think about all those undecideds. As Dr. Parker will talk about, we have this much money and a little bit of confusion. Those tend to break no.
One follow-up, just what if this fails? What about the 100,000 Montanans who are covered by this Medicaid expansion? What happens?
You know, that's a very good question. We're going to have some coverage of that later this week. Even if it passes, but especially if it fails, there's going to be a big discussion in next year's legislature about what to do about this. Do we just forget about Medicaid expansion? There's a fair number of Republicans who control the legislature who would like to do that. So that's going to be the big discussion. If it fails, I think there'll be an effort to pass it or extend it in a scaled down version, but there's no certainty that that's going to happen.
Dr. Parker, you wanted to mention something about the number of undecideds who really have this initiative in their hands.
You look at all of these initiatives, the don't knows are high. They range here from 17 and 20 when you get to the mill levy. And that's important to understand that don't knows on initiatives tend to vote for the status quo. And the status quo on this would be no. And the status quo on 186 would be no.
Initiative 186, of course, the mine reclamation. Our poll, Mike, shows this really passing with a sizable margin right now.
It does. It has a little over 50% saying yes to this, only about 29% saying no, and a big chunk of undecideds, almost 20%. And you know, what we've been hearing from people and seeing some other polls, it may be closer than that, and we think a lot of those undecideds are probably going to break no. I think this will be a much closer race than indicated by the poll.
David, finally, about the 6 mil levy. Every 10 years, Montanans get asked if they want to approve the 6 mil levy for higher education. What's our poll say about that?
54% say yes, 21.6% say no, and 22% say not going to vote on the initiative. 23% say don't know. What's interesting, if you break down the partisan numbers, 28% of Republican voters are saying they don't know. And I think that might be the case because this is an MSU MTN poll. They may not have been comfortable of saying they want to vote no. But if you take the margin of error, 53.9 minus 2.1, I think this is probably going to have a majority on Election Day.
We'll have to wait and see. Less than 2 weeks away. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Coming up tomorrow, we'll talk about some of the approval ratings for Montana's top office holders. That's coming up tomorrow here on the MTN Network.